High blood pressure is one of the most common clinical disorders in the United States. High blood pressure is also known as hypertension. Many people in the United States are on antihypertensive medications or high blood pressure medications for this reason. Well, what if you're someone with high blood pressure who is not helped by antihypertensive medications? Have you taken blood pressure meds and diuretics and noticed no benefit to your blood pressure? Or have you taken high blood pressure meds and noticed no benefit, but diuretics do help? That may be a clue to the mechanism driving your hypertension. There are many potential drivers or causes of hypertension, and many of them will not be addressed by high blood pressure medications because they drive high blood pressure via a mechanism that is not targeted by those medications. Today I want to talk about one of those mechanisms that is very new in the research and that may be driving your case and may be the reason why the high blood pressure meds aren't helping you. And one benefit is if this is part of your case, this is something that can be addressed nutritionally. I'm Dr. John Bartemus, and I'm putting the pieces together to help you live a life at optimal. If you have high blood pressure and blood pressure medications such as lisinopril, losartan, beta blockers have not helped you in lowering your blood pressure, then today we're going to talk about a mechanism that may be driving that high blood pressure and would explain why those drugs aren't helping you. But first, before we dive into the mechanism, I want to just explain kidney physiology and how it relates to hypertension or to high blood pressure. Now, this is a kidney that I drew out for you, and then we zoom in to the kidney to show what's going on inside here. Okay, so when we look in this box, this is the zoomed in view here. And basically, I'm simplifying it, but inside your kidney, you have blood vessels and you have the the convoluted tubules inside the kidney that eventually becomes what goes into your urine. And in the kidney, the decision is being made there, or the environment is driving how electrolytes are handled. They're either going to be leaving the blood to enter the urine to be gotten rid of, or they're going to be reabsorbed into the blood to be kept within the body. Now, there are many drivers and many physiologic processes that contribute to how this occurs, but one mechanism and one nutrient that is key to this process is zinc. Zinc is a key nutrient in sodium transport in the kidney. And so zinc, if zinc status is affected, and specifically if it's subpar and or deficient, that can impact your sodium transport in the kidney and your sodium elimination. If your sodium elimination is negated, meaning you're keeping it, that is going to raise blood pressure. So a zinc deficiency can drive hypertension, and the hypertension medications will not do anything to take care of a zinc deficiency, so the blood pressure may not be lowered the way you want it by the medications if the cause is an underlying zinc deficiency. So how does this happen? Well, let's draw normal physiology first. So in normal physiology, you're going to, with healthy zinc levels, you're going to allow sodium and chloride to leave the blood and enter the urine, and then they will be taken out of the urine, out of the body via the urine. That's normal healthy physiology with normal healthy zinc levels. Now, if we have a zinc deficiency, so zinc is too low, then what happens is that increases another transporter called the sodium chloride cotransporter. That's increased by a zinc deficiency, and what that does is that reverses this process. So chloride and sodium are reabsorbed into the bloodstream and kept in the body. And in this way, a zinc deficiency promotes hypertension by a zinc-dependent transporter that keeps the sodium and chloride in the blood. And so keeping high sodium levels in the blood drives high blood pressure. And this is the mechanism by which that happens. So if you are someone that takes high blood pressure meds and they don't help, but you take a diuretic and the diuretic helps some, the reason for that, or one mechanism for that, is that if you're taking a diuretic medication such as hydrochlorothiazide, the diuretic medication will inhibit this, will inhibit the sodium chloride cotransporter, which then inhibits the reabsorption of sodium and chloride, and they leave like they're supposed to, and you're helped a little bit, or a lot of it. But the diuretic is doing nothing to deal with the zinc deficiency. So if you're not addressing the zinc deficiency, you're going to have to be on the diuretic forever because the cause isn't being addressed. So what we need to investigate is if the diuretic is working because you have a zinc deficiency, then we want to replete zinc status to optimize this physiology and potentially not need the diuretic medication. So this is very, very recent discoveries in the scientific literature. This was published in the American Journal of Physiology just this year. And this is a mechanism that they say at the end of the article needs to be investigated because this could be very clinically important in high blood pressure. One other thing I want to mention is that there's another mechanism that can drive hypertension, and that's stress. That's not rocket science, we're all aware of that. What is important though is that stress, and this may be more new or a novel tidbit for you than the fact that stress can drive high blood pressure, is that stress is a driver of zinc deficiency. So the more stressed you are, or the more cortisol you're secreting, the more metalloproteins you're producing, and the more you're burning through your zinc. So high cortisol, especially chronically high cortisol or chronic high stress, causes zinc deficiency, which then contributes to the high blood pressure that we all say, well, duh, if you're stressed, your blood pressure goes up. Well, this is one mechanism for that. So tying it all up, if you have high blood pressure and high blood pressures aren't regulating it the way you want it to, one thing to consider is possible mechanisms that drive hypertension that the medications don't touch. This is one of them today. So if you have a zinc deficiency, then giving a blood pressure med is going to do nothing to replete the zinc status, so we need to replete the zinc status. When we do that, the hypertension may go down and the need for the medications may be a moot point. You may be good to go there. So work with your practitioner to determine whether or not a zinc deficiency is at play in your high blood pressure case and deal with the results appropriately.